Hello, welcome to the pilot episode of the TZKS show. Here I'm with my guest Noah, close friend of mine, and this channel is basically revolving around political conversation and trying to spread real news. Try to spread the truth and such. So what we're gonna do today is just do the political compass, which if you're watching this video, you probably know about. So basically, you kind of just state your stance on the questions that they give you, and they kind of tell you where you are on this scale. So if I can find on this tab here an example. So right here we have the this up and down line is if you lean towards authoritarian government, so more restrictive, or libertarian type of government, so less government control. And then the left and right here is your economic stance. So if you're on the left, you're a liberal, right, conservative, and then extremes would be like left would be like communism, and so on and so forth. So all right, let's get into this. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, first question: if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interest of companies. Now, I have to agree with this. I mean, I think people are more important than corporations, and I don't think companies are people. So I'm just going to say agree. So, alright. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. I'm going to say yes here because I consider myself to be somewhat patriotic here. I love my country. When it does something wrong, I'm willing to criticize. I'm not going to, go in blindly and just say, oh no, everything they do is okay. But I'd still support it. Just, I'd also support my stances. So, alright, here's a follow-up. No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I disagree. I think you can be, having pride of your nation. Definitely. Oh, alright, this is an interesting question. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. So, I don't know how you interpret this, Noah, but I don't know if they're talking about the my actual race, which would be the white race, or being an American. What do you think that question's asking?
I think they're talking about the former of what you just said.
Okay, so yeah,
just out of the context.
I'm just gonna say disagree then, because all races are equal. It's a given. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, definitely helps. You know what they say, keep your friends close, enemies closer. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Yeah, I think there's some times when there'll be an agreement between two countries and another country wants to go to war. So, for example, let's say North Korea, United States, get in a scuffle, there's a problem with the UN. I think the US can still do it because of the threats made against them. I think sovereignty should go above international law because, you have to be a little more national based. So, I'll say strongly agree. There's now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. So I think they mean those shows on Comedy Central, where it's the Daily Show where you have the news and comedy mixed. I think that's true, because out of that comes a lot of dishonesty and stretching of the truth. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right about that.
All right, people are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. I'm gonna say disagree. I think that when you think of other places, you say, oh, he's an American, you can kind of identify that more of saying that, oh, he's a poor person, because being someone poor in the United States is not the same as saying you're poor in Africa. So I'm gonna say you're divided more by nationality. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Yeah. If you have unemployment can be bad, but if you control inflation, the money supply becomes worth more, and it helps for people to invest and therefore get out of poverty eventually. Because corporations cannot be trusted to protect the environment, they require regulation. Yeah, I think to the extent in which there's a line there where it starts to hurt the company. I think it's good up until the point where it hurts companies. I think from there you should incentivize it. So say if you cut so we're going to tax you here, but if you start cutting emissions, we'll be able to give you a tax break. So it kind of makes them do it more without hurting business. You know? Interesting here. From each according to ability, each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. Strongly disagree. That is an actual quote from Karl Marx talking about communism, which I don't think is good at all. Alright, next one. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is a bottled branded consumer product. No. I don't see why that's a sad reflection. Land should not be a commodity to be bought and sold. No, why would it be bad to sell it? It is regrettable that many fortunes are made by people who manipulate money and contribute nothing. What do you think about this? Because I'm not sure what they mean by manipulate money. Like, do they mean like investors?
Basically, like baiting the system without actually contributing anything. Like, say you never had a job a day in your life, but you were given some money that you invested, and then you sold all your stocks, and so you became a billionaire. You contributed nothing to society, but now you're one of the richest people in the world.
No, I don't think that's inherently regrettable. I mean, that's how people have to do what they need to do. Like, if you're in a bad situation, you have to, like, do some stock trading and stuff, but you can't really bring much back into it. Yeah, it's fine. I don't see how that's regrettable. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Definitely agree. If you look at the United States' trade with China, we see that United States loses a lot of jobs. That's why I think there should be a tariff in place, so that if American companies want to leave, they have to pay a tax, especially to get stuff back into the country, because if they're taking their jobs over to China, there needs to be something to balance it out, because we do have trade deficits. Same with Mexico. So, all right, next question. This kind of goes back earlier. The only social responsibility of a company should be delivering a profit to shareholders. Yeah. I don't think companies should be forced into doing what they don't want to, especially because they make the economy. And without them, that's a big problem. So I would just, let them do what they need to do. The rich are too highly taxed. I think there should be a flat tax. I think everyone should pay the same rate of like 15%, maybe 20%. In terms of how much their rate is somewhat low, but how much they actually pay is a lot. And if you look at corporate taxes, a lot of companies do leave because of it. So I'm going to say yes. All right, next question. Those with the ability to pay should have higher standards of medical care. Yeah, I think if you have the money, you should be able to use it how you want. Straightforward. Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public, of course. All right, next one. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Yeah, definitely. Like we talked about earlier, outsourcing, companies go and take their jobs to China, India, where, they can get stuff cheap. Makes sense. All right, the freer the market, the freer the people. Yeah. I think if you compare America to former communist societies where there's a closed market, it's significantly less free. So the United States definitely benefits. All right, next one. Abortion, women's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. I don't think it should be legal. I'm a pro-lifer myself. All right, all authority should be questioned. What do you think about this one, Noah?
I disagree that all authority should be questioned, but depending on the circumstance, there are times when it's okay to question.
Yeah. All right, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That I also think depends on the context. I'm going to say agree, because like in terms of military, yeah, I think that's reasonable. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up theaters or museums that cannot survive on a basis. Yeah. Well, I mean,
I agree with that. I mean,
I guess I like.
I don't want you to spend money that can't even survive on its own.
That's true. All right, fair enough. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I disagree. I think it should. Education is the key to a healthy workforce, and without that, it's a problem. A lot of people go into poverty because they don't have education. That's the problem. It's like a cycle. All right, all people have their rights, but it's better for us that all sorts of people should keep to their own kind. I'm going to say strongly disagree. I think in this context they mean like political ideologies and how they express it. I think there should be an open conversation. I consider myself a classical liberal, and I like the idea that everybody, pitches their idea and then you come to a compromise. I think that's fair. good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Disagree. I don't think they need to. It's natural for children to keep secrets from their parents. Yeah. Possessing marijuana should not be a criminal offense. I disagree. I think it should. The prime function of schooling should be to equip generations for future jobs. Yeah. That would definitely work. If you look at vocational schools, tech schools, those are the kind of jobs that make the economy better. And if we can get more people into the workplace, we can replace those whose jobs are leaving overseas and try to build up our own industry. So, people with inheritable diseases or disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. No. I think it's unfair to allow someone to have a child just because of their disability. Although, I think... I wouldn't say not be allowed to, but I don't think people who are in a low economic situation should have children. Not be allowed to. You can do what you want, but...
A lot of times they are in that situation because they do have them.
Well, that, and I don't think it's a good idea if you're in a bad economic situation to have children. Because you obviously, if you can't afford it already, you're not going to be able to afford it then. That's where I see it. The most important thing for children is to learn to accept discipline. I think they're...
The most important thing.
That's not the most important. There are no savaged and civilized people. There are only different cultures. Okay, well, here's the thing. I think there are uncivilized cultures out there. Like, there are those, like, tribal areas in Africa where they're still not modernized. You know what I mean? I wouldn't consider them savages. Just not modernized. So, what would you say for that?
I strongly agree because, I mean, their idea of civilization might be different than yours. It doesn't make them not civilized.
True. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity... Oh, to go back to that, I said agree. I think about it in, like... Yeah, I think there is no real way to describe what you think is civilized. It's such a... objective kind of thing where it's a personal opinion thing, so I'm going to say agree. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Of course. If you're trying to get welfare and you can work but you choose not to, I don't think you should be forced to pay for other people. I wouldn't want to be paying for people who are choosing not to work to take money. Fair enough, right? So, next question. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, to keep busy with more things. I think that's like sticking your head in the sand. I think you need to trudge through it. Running away from your problems doesn't work. First-generation immigrants can never fully be integrated. I'll disagree. A lot of them can't, but a lot do. So, all right, what's good for the most successful corporations is good for all of us. I'll say agree here just because if corporations, succeed, people succeed by making money, and that helps everyone, so I guess. Alright, no broadcasting institution should receive public funding. Yeah, totally. I don't want to be funding something that I think could be hijacked and turned into a bias. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Yeah, I think they are. A significant advantage to a one-party state is that it avoids all arguments that delay progress. Yeah.
It doesn't work, though.
That's the thing, but I think they're asking, like, do you agree that an advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids the argument? Yeah. It's not good, but it does avoid the argument. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be rated. No, that's not true. The death penalty should be an option for most serious crimes. Yeah. In a civilized society, one must always have people to be above to be obeyed and below to be commanded. I guess. Like, the way I see it is... I don't know, because I think they mean, like, in a government system, yeah, you can't just have anarchy. But, like, I think at the ground level, like, you have your boss, but if someone is their own boss, they have... they don't have people to be obeying to, except for, I guess, the law. But I'll say agree. Actually, I'll say disagree here. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Yeah, I think so. I think I think it's too broad of a term now. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Yeah, definitely, because a lot of people choose not to be, like a lot of people will get out of jail and they'll do a crime again. And that goes into the next question: is it a waste of time to rehabilitate some criminals? Of course. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. I disagree, because the business person and the manufacturer are part of the economy, but I think the writer and the artist help promote culture, and it's hard to have a fully civilized modern, society without culture. All right, interesting topic. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. No, as much as I don't like modern feminism, that's not that kind of situation. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. I don't think so. They're exploiting their cheap labor, but right, making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Yeah, I mean, where do you stand there? Because that's an interesting topic. I don't know what to say.
I mean, at some point you just have to. You just have to.
Ooh, interesting. Astrology explains many things accurately. No. You cannot be moral without being religious. That's not true. You can be moral without being religious. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the generally disadvantaged. Definitely. Some people are naturally unlucky. I don't believe in luck. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. No. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. I agree. A same-sex couple should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. I don't really care. I'll just say disagree here because I don't like the normalization of it. Actually, I'll say agree because, like I said, it does, as long as it doesn't affect me, whatever. Pornography should be legal. No. What goes on in a private bedroom between consulting adults is no business of the state. Yeah. No one can feel naturally homosexual. This is another one I kind of agree, but that's just me. But these openness, sex has gone too far. Strongly agree. All right, let's see. So, you can take a look at me. I think some of them I probably would have been more libertarian, but if I looked at them again. But I landed a 5.13 on the economic scale and a 0.31. So I'm basically like I would consider myself a classical liberal or a libertarian.
Wait, so you got what?
So, all right, here's what you can do. What did you see those little numbers? Like where it says your political compass?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just asking what you got.
I'll give you my numbers. So,
Okay.
go to the build your own chart on the side panel. Look at the screen. Tell me when you get there. You there yet?
Here we go.
So my economic left-right is 5.13. And the social libertarian authoritarian is 0.31. So you see what that is?
I gave you mine.
Alright, what's the numbers? I don't want to really look into Discord.
Negative 5.38.
For the economic?
Yep.
Alright. Social?
Negative 4.05.
It's not letting me see it. Were you able to see mine? So you're kind of like a left libertarian. Oh, I see you. All right. I used to be, for everyone watching the video, around last year, I used to be around here where my cursor is, but now as you saw, I'm like over here. I used to think, through the socialism that would work, but I kind of realized over time that, like, it doesn't really work in a practical sense. We've seen that happen in the real world.
I mean, a lot of times, it's just the way it's implemented that doesn't work. It works in a lot of places.
It does, but at the same time, there are parts of it I like. I like the idea of universal health care. I like, being able to subsidize veterans to make sure they have good care. But I think the idea of the welfare state and the handouts are my problem. Alright, so, alright, we've gone over our compasses, guys. See you guys later. We'll be back for another video. Thanks for watching.